Hello, Internet, and welcome back to Antiheroes Anonymous, or welcome for the first time if it's your first time joining us. I'm Ethan, and I'm the Dungeon Master for this 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons show. And then going around the table, we have our 4 players, starting with Nick.
Hi, I'm Nick. I play Thaddeus, the human paladin of Bazaar.
Hi, I'm Kay. I play Harmony, who is our tiefling wild magic sorcerer.
Hi, I'm Melissa. I play Mara, and she is a human rogue pirate.
I'm Zach, and I play Hunter as a Warforged Fighter Ranger.
Pirate!
Pirates!
Swashbuckler!
You're all about to be pirates.
We're all
Yarr.
about to be
Wait, what?
pirates.
What?
Welcome to my world.
So
We
let's see.
mostly-
That was in character with Thaddeus. Wait, what?
Wait, what? Let's see. We stream on Twitch every Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific time, and then post those episodes to YouTube the following Wednesday. Throughout the show, we use a variety of custom items and a custom wild magic table. Our music comes from BattleBards, TabletopAudio, and Incompetech. So if you're interested in anything I just said, you can check out the information on the Twitch page. If you're watching on Twitch, or on YouTube, you can check the description of the video for similar information. And then, if you want even more info about when we're streaming, when we're rebroadcasting, when we're skipping episodes, things like, or skipping sessions, things like that, you can follow us on Twitter at Antiheroes Anon. Again, that info is on the Twitch channel page, as well as it's in the YouTube video description. And then, last but not least, we hope you enjoy the show and come back, share it with your friends, because we love when people watch our show.
We sure do.
So, a little bit of recap, and then we'll jump straight in. The party was plane shifted from the Feywild out right in front of the city of Marble Cleft Landing, where they were hoping to procure a boat to travel to a turtle-shaped island somewhere off the coast. Once they got in the city, they saw that it was full of rich merchants, and there was a building, a tower in the center of town belonging to the East Freydin Mercantile Corporation. And the city was also being guarded by Warforged, who the party had only seen in the company of their nemesis group, the Eyes of the World. So then, Harmony and Hunter went on an escapade around town looking for evidence that the Eyes of the World were active there, and ended up finding evidence about that when the Eyes of the World were meeting with the 2 people in the East Freydin Mercantile Tower. Meanwhile, Mara and Thaddeus were touring the docks, where they met with ship captains, and ended up getting a box of belongings from Mara's parents. Sort of like an inheritance type thing. Then the party met up at the casino owned by the Nightclaws, Mercer and Melissa Nightclaw. The owners, or proprietors, I guess that's the wrong word. The big wigs from the East Freydin Mercantile Corporation. And the party actually attempted to speak with the Nightclaws when they saw them dining at the same casino. And things went south very quickly. As it turns out, the Nightclaws are Rakshasa in disguise, powerful fiends from the Nine Hells. Then, rather than spend the night in a casino owned by these fiends, they decided to sleep on board the Drowning Kiss, which is the ship that they've procured for passage to Kamekame Island, which is their next destination. And so that's where we're going to pick up. Let me get some music, and then we'll get right in.
Start to stretch out and then
Bumped him.
really kick here.
It's okay. He likes it.
Okay. So Mara was spending her evening opening up the box from her parents in a sort of private location. I recall Harmony was sitting up on deck.
Oh, right. I was having a moment
Mm-hmm.
because I have a new friend.
Yeah, did you want to talk to him at all? You kind of feel his presence next to you, but he is for the most part keeping silent.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine I'd probably chat with him a little bit. And mainly, how long are you gonna be invisible?
Well, if you want me to become uninvisible, I can.
I
I guess it would
kinda-
be good for introductions. And after looking around invisibly, you can't really see that, but he looks around, determines no one else is nearby, and then appearing in front of you is a tiny creature, maybe only like 12 inches tall or something like that. And you've seen one before, actually, because Drix, when you fought with him, had an imp that took the form of a centipede and crawled around his neck. But that imp was green, and the one that's standing before you is a dark crimson red with, and it's got these like scaled limbs, right? It's all scaly, but some of its scales are gold, and it has these leathery black bat wings that also have some gold streaks to them. And then it sort of reaches its hand up towards you and says, "Like I said, it's Moloch. Pleased to meet you."
I like giving my finger.
That's basically all I can hold. So
I'm Harmony, but I think you knew that.
I mean, the details when we get our contracts are kind of rough.
Your contracts.
Right. I mean, whenever an imp is summoned as a familiar, there's some sort of contract in there. It's
Oh yeah, of course. I knew that. Because I
he
totally
like
did that
raises
on
his
purpose.
eyebrow.
It was totally something that I planned to do.
Right. Well, in any case, that's neither here nor there. You'll probably be wanting to know what sort of things I can help you with.
Sure. Yeah, that would be good to know.
All right. I'll be right back. And he turns invisible again. And then maybe 5 minutes or so pass.
We just went over this.
5 minutes or so pass, and then you hear a skittering come up next to you, and you can sort of, again, when he's near you, you can kind of feel his presence there, even though you can't really see him. And just something in the back of your brain tells you that he's nearby.
Right.
And he turns visible again, and you can see he's clutching a wriggling rat.
Whoa!
And he says, "Check this out." And this like scorpion tail that is attached to his back lashes forward and jabs into the rat, and it like wriggles with pain. But then you can see he
I
sets
like
it
look
down.
around to make sure Mara's nowhere nearby.
He's downstairs if I recall.
Okay.
So. He sets it down on the ground, and you watch as its legs, like it tries to run away, but it's like having trouble walking, and you realize as you watch it that that's because its legs are slowly turning to solid gold, and the gold slowly encrusts its entire body until it is a solid gold statue of a rat.
Oh.
He says, "Don't get any ideas about getting rich off this, though, because I can only do this once per day.
Okay.
It takes a little bit of time
Can I,
to regrow the venom for that.
Pick it up. Whoa.
And then,
Can I keep it?
He shrugs.
My birthday
I
present.
don't need it.
I'll put it in my bag.
Yeah.
Solid gold rat.
So that I don't have to make a decision later, I'll say it's worth like 5 gold pieces.
Okay. It's not very much.
I mean, it's a small rat.
That's
not that
fine.
big. And then he says, and there's one other thing that imps can do that's pretty useful, which I
Okay.
think you'll find to be of use as we continue throughout our contract together. And he, before your eyes, his form like begins to shift. It's like when you cast the polymorph spell on someone. And standing in front of you where he was is a raven with it mostly looks like a man raven, except for that it has 1 or 2 gold feathers to it. And
That's
then
cool.
it like squawks at you.
Ooh!
And then he transforms.
Like at his head. How long does that last normally? I mean, like, can you like hold that? Can you like maintain that form all day, or like if I can do similar magic, but it only lasts like about an hour.
As far as I know, I can do it indefinitely.
Whoa,
And I can't say I've really tested the limits, but
that might be useful.
yeah. See, we're useful little devils.
How do you feel about meeting my friends?
He shrugs again. It's like, if you think they'd be cool with meeting me, That's fine. If not, I can just stay invisible nearby. That's fine. They don't have to know.
I feel like they should though.
There was the one I'm a little bit concerned about with the holy symbol. I know
Yeah.
his type.
We'll tell him last. Maybe we'll just talk to Mara for now. I feel like she'd be the most understanding.
The one in the red pantaloons.
Yeah.
Yeah, she looked a little more understanding.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure about the metallic-looking guy.
Yeah, me neither. But Mara, she knows how to keep a secret.
Mm.
And I'll tap my horn for him to like cop a squat.
Oh, to like hop up on your phone.
Yeah.
He
All right, come here.
flutters on up.
And you might want to go invisible again if you can.
Yeah, and he does.
We'll go find Mara.
Mhm.
I'll go back under below deck to find Mara.
Was there anything else the rest of you wanted to do before you go to sleep?
No.
No. Okay.
Probably just work on my equipment and invention things.
Was there something you're working on at the moment? I
The
can't
arms.
remember. Oh yeah, that's right. And you pretty much had it planned out. You just had to. No, that was the legs you had
I have the legs done.
ready. So you could make your Tinker Tool check with intelligence. See how designs for that go.
It's not. Okay. Clear space. Real roll. Alright. 14?
Yeah, you get the designs drawn out for the most part. It's by the time you feel like you need to rest, you don't have it completely there yet.
Okay.
So that's like one success, and you probably need one more before you've got the designs.
Okay.
But you're well on your way.
Alright. So I already had a bunch of rolls for the like sword and shield attachment.
Oh, is that the part you were working on?
That's this one, yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay.
Or this, yeah, I think so.
Then yeah, I'd say that completes your design for it, and so you're ready to build that onto yourself.
Okay.
So then Thaddeus just goes to sleep, and so that takes probably your 4 hours that you're waiting.
Wait, turn me on.
Where do I go?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mara and Harmony can have their interaction, and then we'll get to Thaddeus.
Okay.
You're gonna do it.
Harmony, here, look what I got. Look in the box.
I'll walk over and look. What's this? What's this box?
It's
Where'd you get it?
I got it from the when we went to talk to the captain, whatever her name is. They were holding it for me at the bar all those years. It's from my family.
Your family?
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
But look what's all in it.
What's in it? I don't remember. What's in it?
There is, it's kind of divided in half, and on one half there is what looks like a set of navigator's tools. There's like a sextant and a compass, those sort of things. There's also a spyglass on that side. There's a blue candle of some kind, and then there is a barnacle-covered gold piece.
A blue candle.
And then on the other side, there is a set of carpenter's tools, so that, you know, like a hammer, saw, things like that.
Mhm.
And then there is a leather-bound journal. And that's about it. And then on each side, there's also a simple gold ring of 2 different sizes, it looks like.
That's cool.
What do you think this means?
What?
Her hand of the coin, the barnacle covered coin.
The barnacle covered coin. I'll take a look at it.
The,
Roll a
the
history check.
ship's okay. The ship's captain has one.
And
Just
make
like
it a
it.
I
disadvantage. Because
think I
there's
know
very
why.
little way you know.
Yeah. Disadvantage history.
Mara can make a history check if she wanted as well.
10.
Yeah, I think with a 10, you don't really know.
14.
14?
-2.
With your 10, Harmony, you have no idea. It's
Yeah.
an interesting
I don't know. It looks
coin.
cool.
It looks really old.
I'd like to enchant it with something.
It looks really old. That's about all you get.
Yeah. It looks old.
Mara, you would remember, not specifically anything about the coin itself, but you remember, now that you get a look at it, it sort of like triggers a brief memory where you recall sort of hazily seeing your mother holding this at one point. But you don't have any memory to attach significance to it. You just remember that it was something of your mother's.
Okay. You gonna tell me about your family at all, or just that you got the stuff from your family?
Well, if you want to, you can read my dad's journal.
Oh, that seems really private. Are you sure?
Yeah. Why not?
Okay, maybe later. But first, there's something I want to talk to you about.
Okay.
So, like, I know you weren't with me and Thaddy when we went up to talk to those, like, Rakshasa creeps. But, I cast a spell when I was up there, and, I kind of summoned I lower my voice so that no one else can hear except for her. kind of summoned an imp familiar.
Mara can make an Arcana check to see what she knows about them.
Oh, natural 20.
Oh, okay.
Hey.
Hey.
You're
wrote the
going.
book.
You're going to. Mara just pulls out a book that says by Mara Stormley and a biology
this.
of imps.
Yeah.
You're going to know pretty much everything that Harmony knows, since Harmony is of fiendish origin, which is that imps are kind of found throughout the Nine Hells, which is this other plane of existence that is rumored to exist, but you've never been there or anything like that, or known anyone who's been there, so it's kind of just in your brain, it's more of like a rumored existence. And the imps are very pervasive throughout there, and they're sort of the lowest level of devil. They're often summoned as familiars for wizards and other magical users. And they're, for the most part, in terms of like combat, pretty harmless. But they can be crafty in their own way. And that's what you know.
So do you know how long you're going to have him around?
Seems like he's gonna stick around for a bit. Aren't you, Moloch?
That's right. And
A voice
this
comes from my
crimson-scaled creature, it looks like it stands on two legs, like a person, but it's only 12 inches tall. And it has this very fiendish face to it. And it's covered in red scales, except for these leathery bat wings, and then a scorpion-like tail that protrudes from the back.
Okay.
And then it has occasional gold scales as well.
Can I see you more up close? Hello, Moloch. Nice to meet you.
He extends a hand. Nice to meet you too. Glad someone's understanding about all this.
and feeling she'd be
I'm
cool.
worried about the holy warrior guy.
Yeah, we'll break the
you-
news
you should
gently.
be.
Yeah, we'll break the news gently. You should go back to being invisible for now, though.
Yeah, that's no problem. He goes invisible again.
He made you this, and I pull out the golden rat. It's a peace offering.
It is the most beautiful thing I have ever seen.
I know, so lifelike, right? Almost like
Are
you
you
can
sure?
start
It
breathing
looks
at
like
any
it's
minute.
struggling to like it's trying to get away. It's a rat frozen in the motion of trying to escape.
So you'll always have a rat to follow.
Always. Are you sure you want to part with it?
Oh, it's for you. You keep it.
Oh, thank you.
I could get another one, you know.
All right, put
Anyways.
it in my pack.
Like I said, it's worth 5 gold pieces.
I'm gonna erase it from my back.
Oh,
It's a
that's
peace
funny.
offering. But yeah, he's gonna stick around and help us for a bit, and I think he's gonna want something in exchange, but that can be discussed down the road.
Okay. More the merrier, I always say.
Yeah. There was something else that I wanted to ask you.
Me?
No, not you.
Okay, sorry.
You. That crystal ball that you use for scrying.
Yeah.
Do you have to be attuned to it?
You do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, could you do me a favor and can you try to see what Ciala's up to before we go to bed? I sure want to make sure that they're safe.
Okay.
I don't know if it'll work.
You set up the ritual and lay everything out the way you need to. Begin to focus in on the ball like you have to for a good 10 minutes before your vision is sucked into the crystal ball, and you feel that whooshing sensation of being carried away to a distant place. But then, in sort of the midst of all of the whooshing blackness that happens when you're being pulled towards something you want to look at, there's a jolting, wrenching feeling, and you're sucked back into Mara's vision, and the spell didn't take for some reason.
Okay. Sorry, Harmony, it didn't work.
Well, maybe they're not on this plane.
Maybe that's an answer in itself.
Yeah. Thanks anyway. I'm gonna get some sleep, I think.
Yeah, I'm tired now too.
Okay.
I'm gonna craft.
You're gonna craft a little bit?
Yeah.
Do we all have separate rooms on the ship, or are we all
No, it's
sort of
all
together?
it's pretty open, but like you can separate things off by like moving crates if you want to.
If you feel the need to be separated from
No,
us.
I'm just asking. Yeah, we're all in the same quarters. Okay.
I think I'll make 2 greater healing potions since I know how to make those now.
Yeah.
You could make 1 tonight, but it takes some time.
It takes time. Okay, I'll make 1.
What's the
okay.
cost?
That's what I need to
I'm
find
assuming I'm paying for this.
Yep.
Yeah.
out.
Well, we're all paying.
It's the party funds,
I'm
not
just-
your funds.
I'm
not
the
your
banker.
personal
I'm the banker in this Monopoly game.
Did I
All right.
did I tell you guys how much I decided?
No, you said you'd
You did
figure
not.
it out.
The fee was to get out of the port, though.
No.
No. Okay.
No.
So it's going to be 100 gold pieces to get out of the
Total?
Port. Yep.
How about for the
We're broke.
potion?
I'm just kidding.
We're broke.
For the potion, I'm still working that out.
Okay.
Hopefully,
Alright.
I'll just do -1 greater potion.
I'm pulling up a page now.
Nick, were you doing anything? Because I had one other thing I wanted to do too.
No, I'm going to sleep.
No, he just
So-
He said I'm going to have something, but I don't know what it is.
Okay. I have a question for the bag of holding.
Uh-huh.
So with my linguist feat, I can create ciphers. Can I password like the contents of the thing with ciphers? Like input it and say this is, and then like make a password. So not like you have to like username, but like
I don't.
I don't think you
think so.
necessarily
like
use
pick a
language,
different name
right?
for it.
To get
No,
yeah, you
'cause
you
when
think
you-
what you
you
want.
think
and
what
then
you
it
want,
pops
you
up.
don't.
And
Right.
does it only respond to like is it attuned or is
No,
it like
No,
it's
you
not.
just say
Response
what,
that
you
you
say. You say the name of the thing you want, and it doesn't have to be the name of the thing that somebody else put in there. You know, it's like
Because
If-
it works
if
no
there's-
matter what language you
if
speak.
there's a
Harmony.
50-foot rope in there, it doesn't matter what you call a 50-foot rope. I can say I want a 50-foot rope, and I grab it.
okay. So I can't like protect our gold. or
Unfortunately.
anything. Okay. I just thought it asked.
So for a greater one, it'll be 100.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Regular
Silver,
ones
right?
are pretty cheap; they're 25, but a greater it scales up.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Yeah, the safest way to keep people from knowing what's in the bag of holding is keep people from getting what's in the bag of holding is to keep them from knowing what's in there. Because if they don't know what's in there, they can't summon it.
Okay.
So as long as nobody finds out that's where we keep our gold,
Sure.
they won't know to ask for gold.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so the rest of you are asleep now at this point.
What are you going to do crafting?
Yeah, I made a greater healing
Oh, that's right.
potion. And then, yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Just figure out which song I want.
Oh,
This one
did
seems
I use Tides of Chaos after it went off? I think I
Yeah.
forgot to erase it.
You're clean on that.
Any in our party seasick?
Nazria was, but she's not here.
good. Can't seem to find the song
Somebody
I
will
want.
be.
There we go.
You made the journey over here and you were fine.
Yeah, that's okay.
Thaddeus. As Thaddeus falls asleep, there's a period of time where you're sleeping soundly, and you can feel that you're being rested and rejuvenated. But then you begin to enter that world of dream, and that sort of special, realistic dream you've been in before, where you tend to encounter premonition and foretelling. And you can feel that sort of surreal nature to it as your dream pulls you out into the middle of the ocean. It seems like you're just standing on top of a field of waves, and up above you is the waxing gibbous moon. And you watch as sort of the waves around you begin to get a little bit rougher as the moon gets bigger and bigger and becomes a full moon. And then as you stand on top of the waves, you watch as around the moon, stars in its near vicinity blink out of existence. And they blink out for a while until the sky is no longer covered with stars. It's just black with the full moon in the middle. And then from the middle of the moon, what looks almost like a dark opening or a crater or something like that, a large crevice opens and it just is dark, pure darkness in there. And dark tentacle or tendrils of something begin to emerge from it, and it looks like they're flailing against the night sky. And then the moon begins to move closer and closer and closer to you until that darkness consumes and envelops you, until, for what feels like a long time, until there's a pinprick of light in front of your vision, and you sort of feel yourself being drawn towards that. And it's a very similar sensation to when you were plane shifted into the Feywild. It's almost like you feel that elation leaping up in you. And then suddenly your vision clears and focuses, and you can see again, and you're standing back in the Feywild. But you are sort of looking at the group of your friends, as well as you can see yourself standing there, and you can see Valerie, and you can see Guy, but you can't see Gavin.
Okay.
And eventually, you realize you're not really in control of your vision, and you come to the realization that you're seeing through Gavin's eyes. And it looks like everyone is sort of getting ready to go into, or is getting ready to leave. Everyone is doing their preparations to pack out. The tower is still standing there where you rested. And then your vision is pulled around the tower as Gavin walks behind it. And you hear these mutterings, these arcane mutterings, as a spell is cast. And you see there's a small flash of light, and then standing before you is a tiny elf-like creature with blue skin. And some words are whispered in a language you don't understand. They're coming from your head, what you're perceiving as your head,
Right.
but you don't understand them. And the little elven figure with the blue skin nods, and then zooms off into the grass. And then you watch as your vision brings you back around to the front of the tower, and you begin to pack up Gavin's stuff. And then after a few moments go by and things look like they're quieting down, people are about ready to go, that blue elven figure comes zooming through the camp at imperceptible speed, stops at Thaddeus's backpack, stops at Gavin's backpack, and then runs off into the forest, just like what happened before. And then the vision cuts again. And you're seeing out of someone else's eyes. You're down at the bottom of this deep pit, this rocky pit. And you can see the three dancing dwarf-like figures. One of them is waving the tuning forks, one of them is waving Thaddeus's sword. And you're on the opposite side of the pit, so you know you're seeing through Valerie's eyes at this point in time. And the other strange thing is you can sort of see an outline to your invisible body, because you know at this point Valerie was invisible. And Valerie pulls out a dagger of some kind, and very quickly and deftly, as she's reaching also for the tuning forks, chops off a lock of the creature's hair, which then turns, you watch as it falls, and Valerie catches it, but as it's falling, it sort of turns to diamond. And then Valerie catches it and quickly pockets it, and then goes for the tuning fork. Then the vision cuts again, and you're seeing, again through Gavin's eyes, as Valerie is producing this cord of diamond rope to Gavin, and you just feel this elation or like happiness at receiving it, and then the two are whispering a little bit together, but then you catch out of the corner of your eye Thaddeus coming your direction, and you quickly pocket the diamond rope. And then the vision cuts again, and you see Gavin, Valerie, and Guy sitting around a campfire in the middle of a field of grass. And Gavin is looking at his book, and you can see that he just takes out a quill, dips it in ink, and marks a big check mark. And then closes the book and looks up at the moon. And then you wake up.
Agenda.
Yep.
Oh.
And then you
All
wake
in the
up
family.
feeling cold and drenched in sweat. It's still late in the evening. All of your companions seem to be asleep, but you're awake for the moment.
I think, yeah. What time is it yet?
If you were to go out and sort of look at the moon and to determine the time, it would probably be around like 3 a.m., something like that.
Okay. I'm just gonna walk around and see if
It
anybody
is
else.
a waxing gibbous tonight, by the way.
Wow, interesting. I'm gonna see if anybody else is awake. I'm not gonna wake anybody
Your
up,
companions
but-
look to be asleep. There is a fading candlelight in the cabin's quarters.
Are you walking around?
Yeah.
I think I'm still sense like the happenings around me, right? Even if I'm powered down.
To some extent, yeah.
Okay.
So you can tell that Thaddeus gets up at some point, but you don't necessarily know if he's bothered
Go
by
to the
something
bathroom or
anything
whatever.
like that.
Yeah. So he wants to read his books.
Alright, then what? I think I'm just gonna take a couple laps around the boat, just out of habit, out of control, out of worry, before going back to sleep.
Make a perception check.
Bad. 8.
8. You can see in the boat that is next to you on the closest dock next to you, you can see that Mantle Ray seems to be passed out on his chart that he was stabbing last night. And he is... he's got a... It was an 8 he rolled?
Yeah, it was an 8.
He's got a book in one hand, but you can't quite see what the title is or anything like that. But it looks like he was reading. He also has an unfinished mug of ale or something next to him. And then there's also the 3 goblins that you saw on the deck yesterday. They're all basically huddled together in a heap on the dock, just covered with a single blanket. That's what you see with your 8.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'll just go back to sleep.
Okay. Yep, and then the rest of the night passes. It's a little bit uneasy after a dream like that. Even after you fall asleep, you just continue to see that bit of the dream where you're standing on the top of the water and then looking up at the full moon, and almost like this dark eye opens in the moon, and the shadows begin to leak out.
What the wording of that last dire warning was?
If the eye in the moon
Yep.
opens, the world will meet its end.
Oh no.
Yep.
Well, that happened.
That was like an old lady or something, right?
It was
Grabbed him and-
one of the
One of the
priestesses of Sehen.
Okay.
And yeah, the rest of you wake up in the morning,
Full rest, full rest.
fully rested.
Yeah, I'll do my prayers, get my... I think, as part of my prayers, I'm going to reattune to my sword, which I haven't done yet.
Oh, right, yep.
When he's praying,
So I'm glad I put that back.
Oh, and then sort of, never mind, we'll get to that. Sorry. When he's praying what?
While he's praying, I'd like to use Mage Hand to dig around in his pack and see what new books he's acquired.
Okay.
I think I just got that one, which was
The werewolf one or whatever.
This is the Tabaxi one.
Yeah, it was the Tabaxi one. It was the Tango with the Tabaxi.
Yeah, you pull out a book that has a
Was it new?
buxom Tabaxi on it.
Was it new or used? They traded you
It was
used
new.
books? Okay, it's new. Yeah, it's new.
I'm gonna
And she's in like
I'm gonna
a
just
like a dancing skirt.
flip through it.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna
There's no
flip through it
drawings or anything.
and wait to see how long it takes Thaddeus to realize that I have it.
I mean, he realizes immediately that he's not going to stop his prayers.
Well, I'm not gonna
Deal
do
with
it,
your nonsense.
obvious, unless you're wearing your pack as you're praying.
He's pretty aware now that Harmony rifles through his stuff. I think he's pretty much aware. He's just not going to stop you.
I'm gonna open to the back cover, and I'm gonna take a piece of charcoal, and I'm gonna draw a picture on the back cover
Of?
of Thaddeus, but with like a really ugly mustache
Okay.
and demon horns, and I'm gonna draw a big pile of poop on his head. And like flies around too, and it looks like a drawing like a 5-year-old girl drew.
I guess make a performance check.
Okay,
Well, if you're going for a drawing that a 5-year-old girl drew, I think you're good.
I'm good.
That's
How much
not
should I
okay.
pay for this book?
I didn't draw for any of the words,
Was
just
it,
the
wasn't
back
it like
cover.
less than like silver or something like that?
Yeah,
Or
it was
like
some
a-
amount of silver.
And then I'm
Yeah.
gonna close it up, and I'm gonna put it back in his bag.
And it's about that time when all of you are sort of coming together. Thaddeus is finishing his prayers. Harmony finishes her drawing. That you hear from a shadowed recess of the hole behind a crate. Howdy. I was waiting for you guys to wake up.
He
The
did
voice
make him
of,
like a cowboy.
Kay the vampire.
Forgot about that.
Then he starts digging around in his pack. Believe you wanted this back?
He's got the book, the Tabaxi on the cover.
No, he's got the
That's the finger. I haven't even seen that yet. Unless you
know.
do it on the back cover.
Well, I put it back in the bag, but I thought like
Yeah, what,
instead
did
of
you draw
grabbing
it on,
the,
you draw it on the inside back
On the
cover?
inside.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't even seen it yet.
I just
I
thought it'd be
probably
funny
won't.
if you were like here, and it was the book. And
I
not
probably
the
won't
finger.
see it until I get to the end of that book.
Yeah.
And I'll turn the page and I'm like, oh,
Well, you knew I had it. I was just wondering if you knew I was drawing it or not.
probably not. What's my his passive possession?
12. All right.
Yeah, I
Anyway,
mean-
sorry.
So this vampire steps out of the shadow. He's robed in dark robes, and he also has some amount of armor to him. He's got like a breastplate that he wears, and he has this heavy-looking sword, long sword, on his hip, which you recall that Nasria tried to steal at one point.
Well, he was held person, right? Like we had him in the music.
I don't remember.
I can't remember how she got it, but she stole it somehow.
Yeah, we did hold
Yeah.
person on him and
Maybe
it
I,
passed.
But he's got that on his hip, and he walks forward, and he sort of reaches outstretched for the finger and says, "If you're going back to the Reaches, or if you're going to the Reaches, then I'll take that back."
That is our destination. We're making a stop on an island first, but we're headed that way.
And he sort of rummages around in his little bag that he's got, and he pulls out a cloth wrapping and lays that out on the floor. And as he unfurls it, there are 2 other fingers in there. Let me see. There's a pinky finger and a ring finger in there. And he puts the pointer finger next to them, and you can see that while it's next to it, there's like these tendrils of mummified flesh that reach out towards the others.
That is going to look around in his pack and try to find the other fingers that he's carrying.
They're there.
Okay.
But when you find them, they have those same tendrils of mummified flesh connecting each other that they didn't have before.
Huh. And yeah, Thaddeus will bring those out and say, what do you know about these? What's going on?
He raises an eyebrow and he says, "Got the other 2 fingers."
Are
Well,
they all part of the same thing?
Well, I'd reckon those are the same thing by the looks of them. Let me take a look.
Are those? Where did you get those?
Of course, hand.
Core. The
And he
Mind
reaches
Flayer.
out, and if you'll let him, he takes the fingers and sets them down on his little mat.
I was just joking,
And
that's
the
actually a
flesh
thing.
begins to
Ooh,
quickly knit
Uh-huh.
together
That
until
doesn't
it
look
creates an entire mummified hand.
Oh boy.
which seems to be like severed at the wrist.
Ooh.
We took that from a mind flayer. Is that a mind flayer's hand?
You took it from Kuor?
Yeah,
Or-
we
Yeah.
killed him again. Killed him
Yeah,
twice
that,
now,
that guy's he's high up in Orin's employ, so I'm not surprised he'd have a couple if they got their hands on him.
Orin's also dead, by the way.
Well,
He raises his eyebrow again.
I was gonna ask what you've heard about the capital.
I'm hearing it's under Orin's control, so if he's dead, that's news to me.
We were similarly confused when we heard the news.
Seeing as we killed him and we brought his body to the Feywild.
Yeah, 2
Buried
weeks
somewhere
ago.
in the Fae.
As someone who's been around for a long time, you can't rule out that somehow he's come back. But that would require very powerful magic, and it's entirely possible that someone is covering for him, trying to create a sense that he's still around.
I
It's
mean,
hard to say.
his one of his final words were, even if that we kill him, that he'll still take over the capital,
Yeah,
right?
well, the Warforged
Yeah,
definitely
his
did.
Warforged would do it.
We were kind of chased out of the capital after we killed him.
A little bit.
Well, I don't know much about that, because I've been over in the dais collecting this, and he points to a pinky finger.
Where did you get that?
In the some of the northern reaches of the dais. An old, forgotten tomb of one of, a cultist, a devotee of a dark god. Want-to-be, that is.
That finger is really dark magic.
Yeah, I warned you about that when I gave it to you, didn't I?
I mean, it's really dark magic. And now you've got a whole hand.
Yep. Which means we're one step closer to destroying them, so thanks for that.
What more do you need before you can destroy it?
Well, this is, how's your history? What do you know?
I studied in Deus. I did passably well.
12.
Do you want us to roll his?
Yeah, do you want to?
Yeah, roll history checks, see
I
if
assume
anything
that's what
pops
that
to
question
mind
was.
immediately, or if he has to fill you in entirely.
Ooh, 22.
I got a natural 20.
Okay.
What does that become?
Oh, it becomes a 22.
Okay.
Is that what you got too?
Yes.
Yes.
9.
Nine. Okay. Yeah,
12.
so Mara, or not Mara, Thaddeus and Hunter. Thaddeus, you would have learned about this in the dais when you were studying a period of time which some believe is still going, but some believe you've transitioned, the world has transitioned into a new period. That is sometimes referred to as like the golden age of the arcane or the golden age of humanity, sort of alternatively between the two and a couple other names. That was when humans and the mortal races were sort of at their peak for arcane learning and knowledge. The races that had been oppressing them, like the Yuan-Ti and the Mind Flayers, had largely been routed and left the material plane. And so humans and other mortal races were sort of free to experiment with their new magic power and things like that. You recall learning about a figure in history, we'll tell you about more in a second, which might be connected to this. And Hunter probably would have learned about this when you were reading through history books, trying to find any reference of someone who could help, like some powerful figure who could help you. You would have read just passing mention of this figure as well. There was a period of time where the mantle of the god of death was up for grabs, so to speak. Something happened to the old god of death, and there was that open spot within the pantheon for dominion over that. And there's tell during that time that many mortals vied for the spot, as well as many immortal beings of various types. And eventually the one who ended up claiming the mantle was the Raven Queen. But there was another powerful figure that emerged during that time, whose name is pretty much lost to history, sometimes referred to in religious texts as the Whispered One or the Undying King. And he was rumored to have lost his left hand, which is what this hand is. He was supposedly a powerful wizard and a lich, but that's about the info you have. And so Kay looks like he's about to speak and fill you in on history, but you can cut him off if you want. Either one of you.
I kind of asked him, didn't I?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll just see if he knows anything that I didn't learn.
He says, well, there was a period of time where there was a bunch of mortals and immortals vying for dominion over death. The spot of God of Death was up for grabs, so to speak.
I think deja vu.
Yeah.
You don't have to tell the whole story. Just
I know.
Even
And
in
he
the exact
effectively
same
says
words.
just what I said, except he says beyond that. There was a powerful lich, a wizard who had unlocked the secrets of undeath and immortality for himself by consuming the souls of others. His name was Vecna, and he was vying for that spot, but his most powerful rival at the time, who's affectionately known as the Raven Queen nowadays, ended up taking the spot, and he met his demise. And not to brag, but I played no small part in that, and I intend to see it through. And he sort of gestures at the hand and says, this is one of the last things I need to do before he's gone for good.
All right. Seems like a worthy cause.
He nods and says, problem is it's difficult to track down because you can't destroy this without one other part. You need an eyeball that was also gouged from Vecna's head when he fell. The eyeball and the hand, if brought together, can be destroyed by this, and he points to his sword, and only this. And if I find that eyeball, I guess now it's done.
Well, we'll keep a lookout.
He says,
Keep an eye out for you.
with this history in
By all
mind,
means.
you can see why it would be bad to take this to the Elderhaven Reaches. If they got their hands on this, not knowing what it is, that would spell his return.
Did Core have a strange eyeball? I can't remember.
No.
No? Okay. Just wondering if it's something we'd seen already or not.
I can't think of anything about that. A strange eyeball.
Is it actually an eyeball?
Yeah, in the same way that this is actually a hand.
Just checking.
It's a magical artifact to its own right, but in the form of an eyeball, that's for sure. Yeah, you can even see that Oren took some inspiration from wanting to become as powerful as this ancient lich when he named his organizations. Hands, eyes, it's all there.
Yeah, and if he has come back from the dead, maybe the Undying King mantle is something he's gunning for.
As far as I know, he only looked up to Vecna in the same sense that someone would look up to a hero from the past. I don't think he intended to resurrect him, but make no mistake, if all these fingers had been gathered in one place with them, he would return.
It's a good thing you got those off of that mind flayer then.
Yeah.
So look, the eyes are here too.
Yeah, he said as much.
Yeah, and the East, what is it? East
Freydin
Freydin
Mercantile Corporation.
Mercantile Corporation.
It's being run by a fiend from the hells.
Two fiends actually, Rakshasas.
He shrugs and says, I'm really not surprised. I've seen Rakshasa come and go throughout the governments of the world, the powerful merchants of the world for generations.
Well, they're working with the eyes, so that leads me to believe there's something a little bit more problematic to come from their partnership then.
It's entirely possible. But if you're going over to the Elderhaven Reaches to deal with the eyes once and for all, then I think that probably that's the direction to go.
We can go back and clean up this mess later.
Okay. Still don't feel comfortable leaving it alone, but I guess the city's safe enough.
What do you know about an eye in the moon?
He raises his eyebrow and says, I don't know too much about the moon, to be honest. Or any eye that would be in it. It's not really my area of expertise. I've pretty much been hunting down these fingers and that eye for the millennia I've been alive, so...
Alright.
Where are you going now?
Find the eye.
Don't have any leads?
Not at the moment, but a lot of what I do involves just tracking down ancient vaults from Vecna, so I'll find another lead eventually. It wasn't called the Lord of Secrets for nothing.
Had a lot of names since back
Yeah, and most people forget that his name was Vecna. They just forget the main one and remember all the titles.
The titles are more interesting. Okay, well, I guess that's the only business we have then, isn't it?
Yeah.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for doing my work for me. And he rolls the hand up back in that cloth and tucks it back in his pack and says, "Remember, if you see or hear anything about a powerful eye, you contact me."
How are we supposed to contact you? I used up that spell scroll to get you here.
That's a good point. Hold on, I got something. And he rummages around and pulls out a rock that has like a face carved into it. And he says, "You can use this to contact me if you find something, but don't contact me otherwise. I'm busy and I've got a lot of things to do. Can't be rushing out to help you every time you get yourself in trouble or something."
Does this work both ways?
Oh yeah, I've got one right here. If I find
then-
anything, then I can contact
You
you.
be sure to tell us if you learn anything with the eye, if we can help in any way.
He nods.
Thank you.
All right. Well, if that's it, then I suppose I'll be going. And you watch as he turns. His like body is enveloped in shadow for a moment, and then when the shadow disappears and or sort of like retreats back to its original position in the boat, there is a bat beating its wings, and then he just flies up and out of the boat and into the sky.
I guess I'll hold on to this unless one of you wants to.
I don't need it.
You good?
Okay.
We don't need to attune to it, right?
Nope.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Too early.
Seems fitting for you to be able to contact Kay.
Oh,
There are.
yeah. None of you asked for his name.
We all know his name. It's Kay.
Well, his real name.
We all know his real name. It's Kay.
I didn't know that was something we were allowed to ask.
I like torturing you this way.
Yeah, it's true. It's good.
I mean, I wouldn't ask for his real name because I haven't given him mine, so
It's fair.
it's fair.
If anyone knows the story of Vecna, they'll know that he is someone important.
I figured out.
Oh, I know the story back now.
There you go. Okay, here we go. There we go. Mic's on. I'm so sorry. Thanks to whoever pointed that out.
Yep. So Thaddeus did a insight check.
Right.
We decided
Still
he's
not 100% sure I can trust Kay, but he mostly can, and I'm okay with him taking.
I normally don't trust Kay.
thanks.
Good choice. And then we had Hunter was going to look into the
Dagger.
reflective dagger and see
Yeah.
if he could see what Mandus is doing.
Last time there's a piece of paper.
Yeah, when you look into the dagger, you see that same cave that Mandus said was his lair.
Yeah.
And you can see the campsite that Mandus had set up in there. But the campfire it's out, and it looks like it's been burned down. And you can see that there's snow falling outside the mouth of the cave. And then propped up in front of the dagger is a book that says, I can't remember the exact message I said, but it was,
Went to check
gone
on
to
Ravenmoor.
investigate in Ravenmoor.
Okay, so
Be
he's
back
still
tomorrow.
gone. Well, it's tomorrow. I don't know.
All right. Well,
So yeah, other than
while
that,
you do that,
all you hear is pretty much the sounds of the ocean lapping up against the
I'm gonna
hull
go
of
to
the ship.
Hunter and try to pull him aside away from Thaddeus. If I
Okay.
can manage to do that without Thaddeus being nosy.
Well, we have these nice earrings that you gave us.
Yeah, that's true. But I'll be like, "Hey Hunter, can I talk to you for a second?
Okay.
Let's go over here, where we can Half in private.
Sure. I'm used to these antics.
How you doing?
Must you torment Thaddeus so much during his prayers?
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just worried about his choices in literature.
I'm just gonna give you like the dad look, as best as Hunter does with Harmony at this point. All right.
What would you rather I fool around with your bag?
Hand her the bag. You know what's in here. We've been together the whole time.
That's true.
Not hiding anything.
Yeah, the
Except
books
this.
that he gets. Have you seen the books that he gets?
No, I didn't see him going to a bookstore at one time, and
Like they're kind
I
of like
feel like
they're kind of like ooh.
interesting.
A lot of words in there that I'm not quite sure I want to know what they mean.
It's very ooh la la.
It's very, very ooh la la, if you know what I'm saying. Starts to make me think, I know why he wanted to drive this boat. I point to the mermaid on the sail.
Mm-hmm.
Yikes. Huh. I didn't know he had that side.
Yeah. Well, he did ask for me to disguise him as one of the people on the covers of the book.
Oh, is that what it
Yeah.
was?
Yeah. He had like the long flowing hair and everything.
Oh my god.
Anyway, no, that's not why I brought you over here. I didn't bring you over here to torment Thaddeus either. It's just there's something. It's easy, but there's something that happened yesterday, and I'm not sure that he's gonna be okay with it. And I need you and Mara to be on my side.
I'm just out with it.
I summoned an imp yesterday. Yeah.
Oh.
He's my new familiar.
Well, it can't be any worse than Morin.
True. I miss Morin. Anyway,
I don't.
his name is Malak.
Hello.
Okay.
The voice speaks up from her left horn.
Is it inside of you?
No, he's right here.
Right here, you dummy.
You can show
I don't
yourself.
like him.
I'm just kidding. You're not a dummy. I know.
Okay, I like him again.
He can do some interesting things, like he can make himself invisible, and he can change himself into animals or whatever, and he can turn things into gold once a day.
Okay, and I'm gonna can I see Morin at this point?
Not Morin, Moloch.
No,
Oh,
he's
sorry.
Moloch.
Sorry.
Moloch is
Moloch.
invisible.
Moloch.
Hmm.
Moloch, where are you?
Right here,
He's right here.
up on the left horn. No,
And I'm gonna reach out towards the left horn and try and
I just said now I'm on the right. Over here.
I'm,
Come on.
I'm still going to the left.
Nope, wrong one. Over here. Okay, here, hold on. And you feel a chitinous substance touch again. Well, actually, you wouldn't really feel it.
I can
Something contacts your
something.
hand.
Yeah. Okay. All right, and then I'll all right. That's why I'll believe that he's there.
Yeah, he's here to
Do you
help.
need to see to believe? Because
That helps.
yeah, he becomes visible, and you can see exactly like I've described earlier. There's
Yep.
just like this tiny figure with a scorpion tail, bat wings,
What do I
red
know about
scales with
imps?
a couple of gold scales.
What does a 15 Arcana tell me about imps?
You would know that they're sometimes summoned by
Wanna read
magic
that book?
users.
Published? Yeah. Oh.
You know that they can be tricky and subversive
Okay.
in their own way, but they're also the lowest of the fiends of the Night House.
Okay. Do I know anything about these contracts and stuff that you were mentioning? Okay. So I'm gonna just ask him, and be like, okay, I want to think more. Moloch?
Moloch.
Moloch.
Moloch. Okay, Moloch. Why are you here?
I'm here because I was summoned. It's not really an imp's choice if it goes or not.
Why are you still here?
Because the duration hasn't ended. I'm stuck here. It's the way it works.
What's the duration?
I don't know.
We don't know.
Why don't you know?
I just don't know these things.
I mean, these things are normally. Are they things that are normally determined by the caster?
Yeah.
Out of
I think,
character?
yeah.
Out of character.
Oh.
Check my
Yeah.
character sheet.
Usually familiars can be summoned for any duration of time.
But it's usually something determined by the
It's also
caster.
usually intentional, and the
Yeah,
caster
yeah.
usually would know how to banish the familiar.
Right, right. Yeah. So I'll say in character.
This was a wild magic thing, wasn't it?
Kind of.
Insight check.
I
I
mean,
don't need to, do I?
no, you
We
know.
see Moloch's little eyebrow go up. He says, "Wild magic this thing. Interesting. Interesting. All right."
So I'm not sure how long he's gonna be here, but he's a welcome guest.
And I'll just look towards him again and say, "Why should I trust you?
I'm here to help.
He's
Help,
here
I
to
can be
help.
helpful.
Help with what and why?"
Whatever I need him to help with. He's my familiar now.
So Hunter's really confused because like there's like a duration, but like you guys don't know what it is, and I'm like trying to understand why there's a duration.
So, the rat thing helped with the other one. Should I make him one?
No, but thank you for offering.
Yeah, it's worth a shot.
He's not gonna
Which-
bother anyone. He can stay invisible.
Did you know him prior to anything else? Is this
No, but
brand
he's
new?
the one that told me that the night claws are Rakshasas.
And since I know he's a fiend, I would expect him to know about other fiends.
Yeah, he has.
So-
I'm sure he has plenty of information that would be very helpful for us. And he can also do some recon spying. Like I said, he turned himself into a crow for me yesterday.
And then I'll look
It's
towards
a
him
raven,
again.
technically, but
A raven. Excuse me. Excuse me.
So you know about the Night Claws. Did you know about them in, I guess, in the Nine Hells? Like specifically those two people or those two fiends?
No. I've just
You just
seen
know
my
what they
share of
are.
Rakshasa before.
You know what they are, but
I know
not
what to
them
look for.
specifically.
But not, yeah, who they are. Yeah.
Okay. Do you know a lot of specific fiends that are in this world?
He shakes his head.
No. For this plane, I should say.
I don't get out of the hells much. None of us really do. Rakshasa are kind of the only ones. It's part of what makes them special. They're able to move between this plane and the hells pretty easily. Whereas most other fiends require some kind of contract to get out.
But it's nice here, huh? Nice salty breeze.
He looks around and is like, yeah, to be honest, I'm not a fan of the salt, but I will make do.
So what's your contract?
I come help for as long as I need to, and then I get a little help in the end.
What's the help you need?
A little bit of help with a little bit of revenge.
Yeah,
What's the
revenge.
revenge?
I like revenge.
We can
If you're
get
trying
into
to get me on
details
your
of that.
side,
later.
if you're trying to get me on your side, I'm gonna need to be persuaded.
Look, I used to have more influence, and then someone crossed me, and now they have the influence I used to have.
Can you tell us who?
Well, you wouldn't know
It
if I
wouldn't
told
matter.
you, would you?
It's some Nine Hells problem, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she gets it.
Yeah,
Not someone
see?
in this plane?
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Like I
And
said, I don't
If
get
it's
out of the
someone
hells
in the
much.
Nine Hells, trust me, it's someone that needs to be put down.
Final question. How obligated are we to help you after you help us?
He holds up his arm, and like the muscle droops down. He's like, "Look at me, I'm flimsy. You can get rid of me in a heartbeat. You're not obligated to do much of anything."
I'm
But
just wondering if there's like magical obligations that like tie you to something.
I mean, there is a contract. I'm not
you could
sure
roll an insight check here.
I would
how
like to
that
do that.
works. I'll do it too.
I rolled a 6.
I want to know the
Yeah.
answer to that question.
He seems pretty flippant about it.
I rolled a 19.
But Harmony, you kind of see the little bit of like an eye darting to the side, implying there might be some kind of magical obligation. But you're not sure how strong it would be or
Okay.
anything like that.
I'm gonna
So
put my hand on Hunter's arm, and I'm gonna say, "Look, I didn't
let me just say,
mean for this to happen, but we're in it now,
No.
and whatever consequences come down the line, we'll face them then. But I think he's going to be really helpful for us.
okay. I mean, I'm just worried about your sake here,
Thank you,
not his.
thank you.
Gee, thanks.
I
I'm part of
appreciate
this
that.
team now too,
And-
you know.
To be
I don't
honest, I think
And Hunter would glare at him if he could.
Yeah.
if it's an imps revenge, it may not be that big of a deal. I mean, we're a lot bigger than him.
We're getting revenge
Yeah,
against.
he does the muscle thing
And
again.
I'm like, and we're getting revenge against, you know, some of them, like a very, very
We'll
powerful
be able to handle it. It'll
spirit.
be fine. It'll be
Like,
fine.
God.
Especially, look, if we can take out Orin once, we can handle this guy's revenge. It'll
Plus,
be
you got
fine.
me to help you next time you face this.
Yeah, we got
orange
droopy
guy.
armed,
Yeah,
droopy
Yeah.
armed imp guy to help us.
yeah. It'll be fine. Look, his talents and my talents are not in our strength, right? Put my hand up for high five. Yeah.
It's just gonna be like.
I just
Look,
I don't know how to tell Thaddeus.
Maybe we let him find out naturally.
I'm not sure that's the best idea. That's actually probably the worst idea.
You know him better than I do.
What if you just stay as a raven?
That I
And I
can do.
can
It would,
tell him that
well,
you're a raven. And that's that.
Well,
Until we need
so-
you to do other things.
I feel like wild magic is a pretty good excuse here.
Yeah,
in my opinion,
that's true.
In
But
my-
I mean, we think he's gonna have an issue with you being nymph, right?
well, hang on. In my opinion, he was only okay with you because you were a good companion. So as long as
Because I didn't do evil
Moloch,
things.
you know,
Yeah. So
shows
if
that he's also
you
a good
could
companion.
prove to Thaddeus that you're good, or that you're
He looks to the side and then looks to the other side.
as good as I am.
I can't prove that.
Yeah.
There's no chance.
Okay.
Okay.
How about prove
I mean,
that you're not
I can
here
say it,
to harm us?
but it's not going to hold up to inspection.
How about you just stay invisible for a bit until we figure this
Yeah,
out?
that I can do.
Yeah,
And he just
okay.
turns invisible again.
Okay.
Look, I'm not gonna.
Just
This whole charade is going to last exactly as long until the first time that Thaddeus uses divine sense, and then it's over.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's what I'm waiting for. Well,
I
wait,
don't
there's
know
a-
about
There's
that
a feed,
though.
and it's right by Harmony.
I don't know about that though.
So
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll all be fine. Just when when push comes to shove and we have to talk to Thaddeus, I want to know that you will stand up for me.
I don't know anything about him, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
Look, we're buddies.
Yeah. You trust me, right?
I'd like to.
I mean, I do stupid shit, but I don't like.
You have a good heart.
I don't
And that's what
betray you
counts.
guys.
No,
I don't hurt you guys.
I know if this was
meaningfully.
if this was because of wild magic, I know that you're just trying to make do with this situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think this is. I think that this could be something good that my magic has brought me, and we can make the best out of it.
I will be on your side if you can. If I'm for sure that this contract thing is not a big deal.
I can't promise you that.
So if you can get more information about this guy or out of this guy, then
Not
I'm on your
pointing to
side.
thin air.
Because it's invisible now.
Well, I'm pointing, and I'm pointing
Point
at
to
your
my
horns.
horn.
I'm pointing at your horns at this guy, supposedly. Then I'll be on your side.
Okay. That's fair.
So what are Thaddeus and Mara doing?
Let's see.
I'm gonna
Now
go rustle
that
up some
Kay
breakfast.
has left, and okay. What are you gonna do to do that? Are you going back out into town, or just gonna eat like some rations from your backpack?
Thought
I'm
you were
gonna
gonna
go-
say you're gonna eat some rats.
That's what I was.
Eat some rats.
No, I'm going to go try to find the kitchen and explore the ship.
Yeah, there's no real kitchen on the ship.
Did we set sail? Are we sailing now?
Nope,
No,
you're in the
we're still
docks.
in the dock.
You told, why can't I remember the name?
Constance.
Constance, yep. You told Constance that you wanted to set sail sometime tomorrow, but there wasn't a definite time. And you haven't, you're still down in the hull of the ship, so you haven't really seen her yet this morning. But looking around here and looking around what you saw on the upper deck, there wasn't much of a kitchen. There might be something
Okay.
back in the captain's room, but you haven't gone and
So is
looked
there
at-
like a place that we can gather for meals?
gather from you, like look for gather food while you're sailing.
Well,
Place where people get
is there, like,
together
a
to
mess
eat.
Oh,
Yeah.
There's open space down here since most of the cargo's been unloaded, and there's open space on the deck. And that's
But no
about it.
like table.
Nope.
Okay.
Your carpenter's tools. You can build us a table.
You could if you have the materials.
Yeah. So if there's like need something to do anyway. There's like casks. You can turn those into chairs.
There's some crates and things down here that seem empty enough that you could break down and turn into a table.
Why
if you want.
not? Let's try
Just
like
ears
let's
are
break
burning.
these out.
Yeah,
So we're
roll
more
a
comfortable.
dexterity check with proficiency because you're proficient with carpenter's tools.
So that should be like +4, I think. Right?
plus dex.
It's okay. It's okay. You good
Dex
decks and
plus
stuff.
proficiency.
Good decks. Do you get double with tools or just these
It's
tools?
only the ones that she picks
Okay,
for her.
so it's
just 7.
This one? No. And then plus your proficiency.
So plus
Oh,
4
yeah.
plus 4, so
Yeah.
plus 8.
Yeah. So plus 8.
Oh, so 11.
Is it that hard?
11
to
total?
share?
Yeah, no, it's pretty easy. You make a decently sturdy chair and a small table.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
I'm so proud.
So a
One of the
table
legs
and
of
one
the table
chair.
is just a centimeter shorter than the other.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Yeah, we can fix it. We just like turn it 45 degrees back. All good.
And then it wobbles
I
the
should
other
have
way.
rolled this one. This was the 20 one. I should have rolled that one.
They were both on 20.
No, I mean earlier I rolled
Oh.
the 20.
Oh yeah.
With the blue.
Okay.
That one's the bad one.
Oh, wait, you know what? Whenever you make an ability check that lets you add your proficiency bonus, and you do have proficiency bonus in those tools, then you can treat a roll.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, that's
right.
And you didn't even have to roll. Like, you can just meet the DC
Yeah.
easy to make a chair and table.
That's
fine.
right.
It's not just your double proficiency, it's any proficiency.
I forgot
Okay.
about that. So it
That's
was
right.
10
That's right,
plus
my
8
reliable
18.
talent.
Yeah, easy. Over the next
Nice. Good catch.
Okay.
like 10 minutes while Harmony and Hunter are off having this conversation, you make a table and chairs.
Okay. So let's say I made four chairs for us.
What about Ethan?
I'm not
No.
My question is,
Well, because the captain's gonna have her own, and the crew probably already has their own. so.
do you nail these down to the floor or what?
Well, the table probably would be nailed, but I don't see any reason to make the chairs. 'Cause
Okay.
in case
Okay.
of weather, you mean?
And then about that time, as you're all sort of gathering around inspecting Mara's table, Constance, this sort of 60-ish-year-old lady, comes down the stairs, looking tired, like she kind of does, and sort of looks around the group of you and says, "Hey, you made a table out of one of my crates. All right, that's fine. It was empty anyways." Any update on when we're going to be setting forth?
I was just about to go look for you and say that we're ready whenever.
Okay, I spoke with
get
the
outta
harbor
here.
master. I gave them the gold that you gave me to fund the trip, and I've got. I wasn't sure whether you guys would be willing to help sailing. I've got 4 sailors, but I can reduce that to 2 if you guys are willing to row and things like that.
Sure.
Yeah.
We don't have anything else to do while we're on
It'll
the
save on space on the ship as well.
All
which
right.
is nice. All right.
She's
yeah.
a sailor.
Yeah, I can. I know that she's a Stormwind. She's definitely a sailor. It's the rest of you will have to turn into sailors on the way, but that's fine.
Sure.
So I'll go tell 2 of the
You're all
crew that
pirates.
they can look for employment on one of the other ships in the harbor. The Bronze
Did our
Worm is-
did our fee cover their?
No, that was just the harbor master.
Yeah, that's all it's a
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah, we'll deal with the rest maybe at the end of the voyage.
Sure, that's fine. Just checking.
See how far we go first.
Okay.
That's turning into a pirate.
So yeah, she goes off, and then you hear her barking to a couple of sailors, and you hear a couple sets of footsteps coming on board. And a sailor comes down. A woman, she's got like a bandana tied around her head, and she comes and pulls out some oars that were stashed in one of the crates, and goes back up on deck and sort of looks at Thaddeus and Mara and says, "All right, I guess you guys are first up to row with us, so if you're ready, we're ready upstairs."
All right, I'll come take my place.
Great. So yeah, you get sort of set up, and then the female sailor who goes by the name of, let's call her Rachel.
Is that the same woman that they met and talked to at the harbor?
Did you meet a female sailor
They
for?
met a woman.
I think
and
that
a
was for
man,
the
I
other
think,
ship.
right?
So,
Doesn't they?
Is this like the first mate or something?
yeah, she seems to be fulfilling that role. But I don't think you've met her before. And she sort of walks you through the basics. Mara doesn't need to learn anything, but she walks Thaddeus through the basics of like taking a turn at rowing and being cooperative with the rest of the rowers. And then the captain and Rachel go about setting the ropes off of the boat and pushing it away from the dock and getting you underway. Just switch music here. I'm no longer being mischievous.
How long are the shifts?
A couple hours. But as you're beginning to push away from the dock and the boat is steered around and headed towards the entrance of the marble cliffs, this is the one. Okay, here we go. As your boat is headed towards the entrance of these marble cliffs that make the harbor out of this little cove, you begin to hear a bell ringing from near the tops of the cliffs at the sort of entrance to this harbor. And you can see that on either side of the opening, there's like maybe 3/4 of the way up the cliff, maybe like 150 feet up, there's little houses that are built into the sides of the cliff. And that seems to be where the sound is coming from. And as this bell is ringing, you can see that 2 people come out onto decks that sort of go around these houses 150 feet up on the cliffs, and they begin to turn a crank. And as they're working really hard to turn this crank, you can see that the mouth of the harbor is, in the mouth of the harbor, there is a large, like massive, like on the level of the chains that pulled the center part of the capital city up and down. Like these chain links as thick as maybe a person are beginning to rise up out of the water in like this net, as if to block passage through the exit of the harbor. And the boat is just beginning to row towards that direction. And Captain Holt shouts down, "What's going on? We should have had passage. I have no idea what's going on. Either the harbor's under attack, or they're not letting us go for some reason."
Row faster.
And she sort of looks at you, raises an eyebrow, and then the rest of the crew is looking at her, and then she, there's like a second's pause after you give that order, and she says, "Well, you heard the man, row faster!"
So,
Okay, question.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's roll initiative to keep things on track here.
Okay.
And as you sort of like look around back at the back of the cliff, you can see 2 figures standing at the top of the cliff looking down, with their black and red hair
Yep.
flowing in the wind, watching this scene happening.
Oh no.
So, how far away are we from the figures that are turning the cranks?
Maybe 300 feet horizontally and 150 feet vertically.
Okay. Nothing's ever easy.
I'm not sure I can use it that way. We'll see.
Flying hunter. Okay. Let's see, who's got the highest?
Draw a picture.
Alright, so Hunter,
Definitely not me.
as the boat is now hurtling towards this chain, which is beginning to rise up out of the water,
Has a chain already...
it's essentially breaching the top of the water. You can see like the top of this massive chain coming up to block passage.
Well,
and you can
we
see
know
these 2 men cranking it.
they're men?
Yep.
Okay, so...
I have a good idea.
What's your
Maybe.
idea?
Just keep going.
Well,
You don't know what my
I'm-
idea is.
do we want to attack these men? They're
That's
cranking.
not that is his plan. That's already not his plan. It's just to row faster.
We're faster. Escape.
I mean, I could take them out from here.
I was
They're not-
thinking, don't you have anything that would make it go on the water? You know, I need that kind of equipment since you're mechanical
Do what?
to make the oars go
Oh
faster.
no, I don't think I have anything like that.
Moloch whispers in your ear, Harmony, "You want me to take care of one of those guys?"
And that is just saying the hunter. They're not evil. They're just following orders.
Which guys?
Yeah, I get that.
The guys pulling the cranks.
I wonder if there's something I could do.
This is exactly the kind of situation where I come in handy.
Hunter,
You're right.
do you have anything
But
that I
you'd
could
be-
borrow that could cut metal,
Cut metal.
like a bar or something?
I mean, magical weapons could probably cut through non-magical metal, but the thing is, these chains look super thick, so even then it would take some time.
I might have an idea about how to deal with the chains. If you can do something else.
Hunter, do you have anything you want to do? If you want to just wait, or if you want to do something to help the boat go faster.
So we know that those two guys are just men. They're just following orders.
Well, I'll bet with that is
Yeah, I don't want to shoot them.
Maybe
But-
you could shoot the crank.
Yeah, I could shoot the crank. What's the crank made out of?
Hey,
Looks like it's made of metal.
did a sonic shot?
Yeah, I mean, I have other shots I can do. It would just hurt them.
Yeah, I mean,
I could try.
yeah.
Or you
They
could
can
try
drop.
to-
They can drop the crank.
Yeah.
Shoot an
Okay.
arrow in the chains and get it jammed so we can't turn the crank anymore.
Can I shoot like a non-lethal shot?
I think
that-
you can only do that with melee attacks.
You could only, I mean, I don't think your bow.
I mean, I'm not gonna like pump it up with like magic damage and stuff.
No, I know, but I know there's like rules for how to do non-lethal attacks. I think that it's just melee.
All right. Well, I'm gonna do my best not to kill them, but I don't want them to stop us either because this could be really bad.
So there's 2 cranks, right?
Yep.
Okay.
So I'll go for one
There's
of
one
the.
on each side of the cliff, and each side seems to be raising up one end of this chain net or whatever it is that was under the water.
Yeah. So unless I notice another weak spot that's like non-organic, like if there's like the crank
I
or
mean, you
something
see
is
the crank mechanism itself. You
made out of
see
wood or
the
metal.
guy. You see the places
Chains.
where the chain connects to the mechanism and is being raised up.
But that's like really thick.
The chains themselves are really thick, but they're like connected to the mechanism by
Oh shit, I
less
can't
thick
do that.
chains,
Why
you
do I-
know, things like
why
that.
do I wanna
So you could
spell?
maybe aim for those.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Like, the chains are being pulled up because they're connected by
Plan B.
less thick chains. So that's an option.
Plan B.
Would I perceive that as workable?
You could probably make any of these things work if you rolled them.
Okay, so I'm gonna try and shoot the chains first, where you were pointing out maybe the weak link of that
Okay.
mechanism. So I'll set my bow down, and I'll take a shot at that.
Do that actually again in a second.
And I rolled a
What is the maximum range on your bow?
600.
Okay, so you're good.
I
That's
got
still
a
great.
26 to hit,
That'll hit.
and I'm gonna make this a magic shot.
Damn it.
So I'm gonna roll for my bowstring.
I thought you just said I'm not. Oh,
I'm shooting at the chains.
Shooting.
Yeah, just so it's magic damage, and hopefully it'll pierce it better. So I got an 8, which is petrify.
Actually, that could be good. You watch as where your arrow hits, it starts to turn to stone a little bit and crack away, but roll the damage.
So
The chain can't make a save. or anything.
yeah, there's no extra damage on this, is there?
No, so it would just be your regular damage.
Okay, just regular damage. So let's do this. Boom. And then I don't think I have any specific shots that would do anything. So it's just maybe. So that is 28 magic damage.
Okay.
And what do I notice?
You notice that as the arrow connects with the chain, the area that was metallic, and you can see all this in fine detail because of your scope.
Yeah.
The area that was metallic begins to turn to this stone, which then crumbles away a little bit with where the arrow hit.
Okay, so I'm gonna shoot that petrified part and hope that I can break it off again, I guess.
Okay.
So I got a crit.
Okay, that'll do it.
That'll do it. Like, don't roll damage, or that'll
No,
do
like,
it.
like roll damage, but that'll hit for
I
sure.
wonder if I have another thing that would destroy it with magic. I need to roll magic damage. So okay, let's do this one
Yeah,
more time.
do you have a wicked disintegration beam on
There is
I
a
do.
disintegration option on there.
I got slow.
Yeah, there's no perceivable effect when the arrow hits
Okay.
this in particular.
All right, whatever. That is 30 damage. Is it?
Quite a bit of the chain is crumbling away.
This is the small chain, not
Yeah.
the. Okay, but it's not crumbled away completely.
Not entirely, no.
Is it like significant?
Yeah, I mean, like, it's still being
have
pulled
three
up,
plans.
but it looks like
Okay.
a couple more hits might do it.
It's like
I'll
more
do a couple more
plans
hits
than
then.
I have 3 plans and I'm trying to figure out what would.
All right, we'll keep going.
Sounds like he's got one.
I got. That's gonna hit. That is That's like 30.
Okay, yep.
Straight disintegrate. Come on, 9. That's an 8 again. I think that's petrify.
Okay.
Yeah, petrify one more time. Death.
There's no more perceivable effect from where you're hitting.
Sure. That is 28 magic damage.
Okay.
So I think I've like done like 80 almost at this point. Is it still alive? Is it still like there?
Alive.
No, you watch as it then that part of the chain crumbles, and the man who was cranking it falls back on his butt because suddenly, like, the tension that he was using to pull it up releases, and that bit of the chain droops down into the water. So it's now being dragged up lopsided on one side.
One down, and then I
Good
can action
job.
surge and do the other one, I guess.
Or you could let someone else have a turn.
Yeah, okay, I'll stop. That's fine, you can have
You
it.
can action surge if you want.
No, go ahead. We'll see what happens.
How
If you
many
have
more
an idea.
shots do you have?
I would have 3 more attacks.
3 more.
Yeah, and I could just go for the guy if we want to. Or...
Do it.
No,
Save our spell slots.
We'll save
I was
my
just
action
teasing
surge.
you.
Action surge is a one-time thing. So let me knock off my beholder charges. Okay, no, I'm done. I'll leave it to you guys for the next part, and then I'll act accordingly.
Okay.
Okay, Mara, you are currently rowing. What you can do on your turn is make an athletics check to try and push the boat a little bit faster.
Okay.
Or if you have any other ideas for a check, like a persuasion or something that you could use to motivate the crew, really anything you have in mind.
Panache.
Yeah.
Panache.
Yeah, if you wanted to use your panache to try and charm the crew, get them to move faster,
Okay.
that'd be an option.
I also have a Cloak of the Mana Ray, but I don't
But
think,
you don't need that right now.
I
You're
don't
not
think there's
underwater.
anything I can do to
Plus
it
you're
underneath.
rowing.
Yeah.
If
Okay.
you stop rowing, then the boat stops moving.
That's true. Okay.
So I guess, panache, you make a persuasion check, is that right?
So 19.
Do you get?
Oh, persuasion.
Persuasion.
Yes.
Charisma.
That's one.
Okay.
No, that's perception.
Right? Oh, I'm sorry. You're
Persuasion
pointing
is
at.
6,
Yeah,
so
you go.
20.
20, okay. The crew are already, like the other 2 sailors, there's Rachel and a male sailor. They're already straining to push the boat faster on Thaddeus's order, but you hear as you call out to them to motivate them in only the way a sailor can. You feel a little bit of a lurch as the boat begins to move a little bit faster.
No way, only the sailor can. I don't know if I want to know what that is.
She speaks their lingo.
I guess so.
Okay.
Sailor can't.
Then you watch as from the cliff face behind you, the 2 figures sort of look around themselves and then leap off the cliff and plummet straight to the ground. But then right before hitting the ground, they seem to catch themselves as if they had some sort of flying or levitation magic, and then are right on the edge of the docks, which you've just left maybe like 30 feet behind. And they look like they go charging down the docks a little bit towards you guys. So they're running up to the edge of the docks as you're pulling away from them.
So I'm sorry, the image in my head is kind of confusing. But like, so there's a big cliff up here. Like
Right.
if our boat's going this way, there's a big cliff and like a big opening. There's a chain being pulled up, and then these figures are up here.
So effectively what you have is you have the harbor is carved into a cove or a cleft in these marble
Sure.
cliffs, right?
Uh-huh.
And so that has 2 sides which create the opening, right?
Yep.
And so at that opening there's 2 guardhouses or
Yeah.
things like that at the
And-
high up.
Are they both one each one?
Yep.
These figures.
And that's where the
that's where
the reels
yeah,
are,
that's where
right?
those are coming from. Yeah.
And the chain is being pulled up in the
I got it.
opening
Yeah, I got
of
that.
the cliff.
Where are these
So then
people?
these 2 figures, the Nightclaws, are
Yep.
behind you, on the
Okay.
cliff behind
Okay.
you,
Yeah. Okay.
where
got
like
it.
the elevator was.
Yeah. Okay, I thought they were up there too, and I'm like, did they go into one?
No, they're up on the cliff behind you.
Got it. I'm on board now.
Thaddeus.
So much
I'm
is
sorry.
happening.
I'm sorry. I had to get it right
It's
in my
alright.
head.
It's alright.
I didn't realize they were behind us.
It's
How-
on the dock, right?
How fast is the ship moving, and how
It's moving pretty quickly
far
for
do we have to go?
the size of ship it is. You are probably,
Aim for the side. It's down.
you're maybe like 50 feet into the harbor. and the edge of the cliff where you need to reach that opening is 300 feet from the docks, so you're maybe 250 feet to go.
Okay. Well.
I gotta check.
But you just got turned around and like are trying to gain momentum, so this is
Yeah.
where you could make a check or something like that. You've got some ideas.
I am going to, while I'm rowing, reach out to who's with me? Who's like on across from me?
Like rowing the opposite side?
Yeah.
We'll say Rachel,
Okay.
the first mate.
I'm gonna reach out to Rachel and say a prayer to protect her from the wrong shots that we get over me.
Okay.
So now she's got the benefit of protection from doing good. Creatures of this type have disadvantage against attack rolls against her. That target can't be charmed, frightened, or possessed by them.
That's good to know. Okay. And then it is Harmony's turn.
Okay.
So you can see that one side of the chain is drooping, and then there's these two creatures running to the edge of the dock behind you.
And then I'm still rowing.
Would have appreciated a hasty there, Sadie. Thanks for that.
You're up, Harmony.
How far away is the guy that's doing the crank that the other guy, the hunter, wasn't
You said it was like
aiming
It's
at?
250 feet horizontally, 150 feet vertically.
So I could dimension door to him.
Mhm.
I'm gonna do that.
Okay. So you disappear from the boat and then reappear right or left side? The one that's not
The
drooping?
one that's not drooping.
Okay, so the right side.
Behind him, and I'm gonna use 2 sorcery points to cast Dominate Person on him.
Okay.
Oh, man. I like it.
So it's a charisma save?
It's a Wisdom save.
Charisma save. Wow, okay. 18 plus 0.
So I'm gonna bend luck.
Yeah.
Okay, so
On
roll your
him?
d4 and subtract it.
Okay, so sorry, that's 2 more. Because my spell save is 17. And 3. Minus 3.
Okay,
Yes.
so
Perfect.
15 total.
So he fails.
hmm
And he's.
And you can see his turn begins to slow as you assert your control. What do you want him to do?
Lower.
And he begins to
Lower
push
it.
the other direction.
Lower it. And then.
Tell him to disobey.
Now that you're
works.
up here, you can see into the windows of this like guardhouse, and you can see that there is a warforged in there who is like getting a weapon ready and is about to
Okay,
head out the
I'll
door.
tell Moloch, take care of that Warforged.
On it, boss.
And make sure you come back to me, because I'm gonna warp back to the ship.
Sure enough.
Alright.
And actually, I'm gonna say Moloch goes on your turn.
Okay.
So he skitters in to the guardhouse. You can see, well, you can't see, he's invisible because he wants his advantage on the attack roll.
Right.
And it's a good thing too. His tail pierces into the Warforged in like a weak place, and that's when he becomes visible. And you can see that his tail is stuck into it.
Uh-huh.
And the Warforged passes its save, but you can see that it definitely reels back in pain, and you can see the little bits of gold beginning to form on its foot, but then those seem to fade.
Damn it. Okay. Alright. That's cool. Like, get back
But
here.
he's like, "Don't worry, I got this one, boss." And the Warforged seems to be like drawing on its sword and like looking at him.
Get back here! Don't let it hurt you. I think that's all I can do.
Okay.
I'll like use my movement to like back up away from the door, I guess.
I mean, there's not much room. You're on like this
Yeah.
walkway, but
Yeah.
you can back up a little bit.
But I'll back up a little bit, get my staff
And from
out.
here, you have a really good view. From here, you have a really good view of the Nightclaws charging down the end of the dock,
Right.
dancing on the ship.
Right.
Hunter.
Can I talk
Oh,
with
I
my
don't think
earring
Mhm.
to Hunter? Oh, maybe he's too far away. But Hunter, the Nightclaws are on the dock behind you.
Is the range 150 feet?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
It's also an action.
Can
Okay.
you,
Is it?
can you just
Well,
shout?
it doesn't. It's just an earring. It's not.
Yeah,
It's still an action.
But it lets you
Okay.
cast that spell.
Okay. All right.
Can,
Fine. Rule monger.
Can she just shout?
Thank you.
Is that within earshot?
No, that's
You
200
could
feet.
try, but
Nah, it's,
Do you have
it's
like
cool.
the cliffs to echo it?
I don't want to give away my
Thaumaturgy?
position, which is why I was
Okay.
going to use the earring.
All right. Do I know the Nightclaws are there?
yeah, you have seen them coming.
I
They're
mean,
not
that-
making an effort to hide that they're approaching.
Yeah, I think that would. I mean, because you got the guy. What other dangers are there? I don't think. I mean, well, I'm asking like I'm not. Well, that was kind of vague.
None that
but,
you
like,
see at the moment.
Yeah. Besides them, I think that's the next reasonable thing anyway. So I was wondering, would Hunter not attack them?
I think,
So,
yeah.
Yeah, I
knew
would.
they
I
were
think
there
I would
anyway.
shoot at them if they are.
Okay, you can
Obviously,
see
it's
both
not us.
Mercer and Melissa. Which one do you want to target?
Odd as Mercer, even as Melissa. Mercer.
Okay.
Okay. So I will make some shots on them. That's a 22.
That will hit. I almost just broke down 1,000 hit points. That's not what he has.
Yeah, I
That's
hope
not what he
not.
has at all.
Okay, and I'm gonna use another bowstring charge on this one, and I got disintegrate.
Yes.
Hunter, what would you say your alignment is? Would you say you're good or neutral?
I was neutral. Can you change it?
Yeah, your alignment can change over time.
I mean, I definitely was neutral, and then when I started recovering, I think parts of Hunter's past, it would probably turn more good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like neutral did.
Yeah, because like at first he had this like weird complex where he like didn't want to like I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Okay. Do they have to take? Wait.
They will
For
need to make a
disintegrate?
save.
Okay. So there's a save, and the save for this is 15, and it's a Constitution. I'm also
They
gonna.
don't have any save proficiencies? They don't.
Okay.
But it's a 13 on the dice plus a 4, so 17.
Darn. So no damage.
Yeah, no damage
Okay.
from the disintegration.
Okay.
But
I'm gonna use
all your
a.
damage is small.
Okay, and then I'm gonna do a trip attack, so they have to make a 18 DC strength saving throw.
Nope.
Okay.
That'll
Mercer
help.
trips and falls head over heels into the water.
Great.
Nice! Did he roll a 1?
No, he rolled a 6. But he was on the edge of the dock, so it makes sense.
And that is 36 magic damage.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna take one at what's her name? I want to say
Melissa?
Yeah, it is
Um,
Melissa. Okay.
One
like
note.
Melissa. Sorry.
One note about your attack.
Yeah.
When your arrow pierced him,
Mhm.
it carved a significant chunk into him. It looked like it just like pulled away at his flesh, and it's like almost like his flesh was like being torn or like burned away by your arrow.
Gross.
Whoa.
Like it was more potent.
More potent than it should have been.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
What's on your arrows, man?
I don't know. Ooh, this one's not good. That's a. I got an 18.
18 still hits.
Oh, okay.
This is Melissa now.
Melissa. Same thing, magic attack. I got Enervation,
Okay.
which is a constant saving throw, 15.
12 plus 4, so another pass.
Okay. Darn. And then and I'm gonna do that trip as well, so mark that off. Mark this off.
Roll of a 6 again. Melissa's in the water.
That couldn't have worked
Yeah,
out better.
Okay.
It's the
So-
same exact roll too.
That is 11, 29 magic.
Magic.
Yeah.
What kind of magic?
Just magical.
Just magical damage. It was like magic lightning damage.
Magic.
It's the
magic
same sort of
damage.
thing where her flesh seems to be burned away and like retreat magically
Okay.
as your arrow passes through.
And then I'll make another shot at Mercer then.
Okay.
Because I have a third attack.
He is in the water,
He's in the
so
water.
take away your scope advantage and just roll
I just rolled a
normally.
natural 20. Okay, fine. So I could only roll.
He's partially covered by the water.
Okay, that's fine. That was a 20.
Was it 20 again?
Yeah, no, it was a 20.
No, he had a 20, but he rolled with advantage.
19.
19 still hits.
Yeah, okay. And then I'll just do flat damage on this one. Well, unless I don't think I have anything fancy. Is he holding anything?
No.
Okay, well, I don't really have anything then. So I'm just gonna roll damage. That is 29.
29.
Piercing.
Um,
Magic damage. And that's my turn.
Notably, this seems to have exactly the amount of damage effects that you would expect your arrows to have. Like that weird burning effect seems to disappear.
Oh, okay.
Just not realize I wanted
That is you. Then it's Mara.
Okay, so I'm just still rowing, right?
Yep. So do you want to make an athletics check to try and go faster? What do you want to do?
Since I've already trimmed everybody, I guess let's do that to see if I can get a little extra.
Okay.
20.
Oh, yep. Good enough. You feel another surge forward as the boat begins to pick up even more speed. You now find yourself maybe 150 feet out into the water.
Hunter's also going to call down to those under their rowing and ask, do you need me to help row?
No, you unbalance it. Leave out 4.
Okay.
Thanks, you though.
I'm very athletic.
You see both Mercer and Melissa's heads come up above the water as they sort of take a gasp of breath. But then they sort of look at how far the boat has made it away, and then they dive back underwater and you sort of lose sight of them. Meanwhile, the Warforged up in the tower is going to make a swing at Moloch.
No! Don't hit him!
Just hitting him
No! Moloch!
for some damage. Moloch, a little bit of like black ichor splatters as he takes this longsword attack, but it also doesn't look like it did as much damage as it could have done. Like, he dodged out of the way a little bit, and also like the weapon seemed to have trouble cutting into him.
Oh my goodness.
Why are you so attached to this thing?
My poor little familiar.
He's going to come and bite us in the end.
Looks like she's got another pet.
I got another pet. How many are pets?
Thaddeus is up.
I have a couple of questions. I can't see the night claws anymore, can I?
No, they've disappeared beneath the water.
Well,
So the people rowing are under the.
The oars are actually up on deck.
Oh, so we're all on the same level. Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. Got it.
The lower area is more of a cargo.
Got it. Okay.
but I saw where they were. Who is watching this? Who can see what's happening?
The dock area is pretty quiet. Like, there's actually not really anyone you can see around the dock. You can see that Mantle Ray is like poking his head out of his ship and like looking around, but he's pretty much the only one.
Of course.
Yes.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cast a spell from my sword, which is Moonbeam,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to put it. They were like 150 feet away, right? They just fell off the dock and started swimming forward.
Mhm.
I'm going to put this 100 feet behind us.
Oh, okay.
So if they swim through it,
It'll change them
Effective
back to
trigger.
their shape. Yep.
Yeah.
So 100 feet behind you. Let me see. Something
So
like
can you place it like is it a beam, like a line that's like this?
it's an area.
It's
Oh,
like
it's
a sphere, right?
It's like a 5-foot radius sphere.
oh, okay. It's like like a minefield.
Cylinder, yeah.
Cylinder.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Uh,
Like a light from heaven.
Yeah.
Oh.
Harmony, it's your turn.
Cool.
Oh,
And,
I'm gonna scoop up Moloch and dimension door back to the boat.
Okay. The Warforged looks like he's going to attack you, but then you're out of there before he can do anything.
I haven't been rolling wild magic for any of these things.
Go ahead and roll a couple and see.
I just cast 3 spells, so I'm just gonna roll 3.
Is Moloch visible when they come back to the boat?
None.
This is a really important question.
Well, I've got him in my arms.
Okay.
Yeah, if Harmony shields him, I'll let you
So,
make
I'll shield
a
him.
sleight of hand check.
Okay.
Boy.
And then what's Thaddeus's passive perception?
Oh, it's bad. It's like
14.
12.
Oh, jeez.
So yeah, Thaddeus like looks to you as you are emerging on the deck, but you just manage to like get your robe around him and turn to the side.
I've got that cloak
pretty
now.
busy rowing to give him more than like a cursory glance at it.
Yep, yep. And then,
Oh yeah. He
That's
doesn't
funny.
know.
did I see what happened to
You had a pretty good view of them from up top.
the Rakshasa? So I
How
have.
good I did.
Do I have? Can I do like a? Would it be an action to do like a perception check to try and find them?
I mean they're underwater.
They're
I didn't-
underwater,
I didn't
okay.
want you to do it Thaddeus either, so.
Here's my other question.
I could, hang on.
I have the spell Tidal Wave.
You do. It's from your amulet, right?
Yeah. So I know it's usually something to cast to like damage things, but could I cast it under the boat to give us a push forward?
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
amazing.
Because that's what I'm gonna do.
Oh my
I'm gonna
gosh, I love it.
I'm gonna use 2 more sorcery points to cast a quicken spell, and I'm going to yell at everyone, "Hold on to something!" And I'm gonna cast Tidal Wave under us and launch us forward through the gate.
That's awesome. That's so cool.
It's one of my 4 plans.
Oh my god.
It's really good.
It's one of my 4 plans.
That was an excellent
Great.
one.
Yeah, that was really good.
It was either like if the Rakshasa hadn't gone underwater, I was gonna knock them back with it, but I thought, hey, why not give us a boost?
So good.
Whee!
I love it.
I need to roll wild magic again. That's only 3 charges.
Mars hands go.
So I can do that 2 more times,
Row!
y'all.
Row!
Look at it, Rose. She's pushing us.
I can do that 2 more times, y'all. Alright. No wild magic. We're safe. We're good.
Where is I didn't see Tidal Wave in here. Is it?
It's in my.
Oh,
or
is
it's
it special?
It's an elemental evil, I think.
It's also in
on
Xanathar's
D&D.
Guide to
It's
Everything.
in Xanathar's.
It's yeah, it's on D&D Beyond. It's just not in the PHP.
Okay.
Yep. So let me just actually look at Tidal Wave real quick.
So good. Oh, I'm so happy. That's great.
Tidal Wave. I have a spell right here. Area can be up to 30 feet long, up to 10 feet wide, and 10 feet tall. Third level spell, yeah. I'll say that it pushes you that initial 30 feet extremely quickly. So everyone who's on deck make a dexterity saving throw.
Me too?
Yep.
Okay.
Are you,
You can have advantage because you're casting it.
Because I
Also,
know it's coming.
I think most of you are going to get my bonus. Because you're about 10 feet away from me, probably. So add +4.
So it's a, a
22.
dexterity saving throw, which
That'll
is
be
this
22 is
number
good.
here. 8
This is just a.
plus
Yep.
4.
Anything above a 10
Plus-
passes.
Are the rowers sitting or
So
standing? Because they're already
25.
30 sitting.
Actually, rowers are sitting,
Plus,
so
I think
Thaddeus,
if
you don't
it's-
have to make it.
Oh,
And you wouldn't have
Oh,
to
you
do
wouldn't
it.
have had to make it anyway.
Sorry.
You're seating.
But Constance.
Yeah, Constance falls over.
Oh, no!
Not overboard,
Get
but
my
like
bonus,
she
you get-
falls down.
Yeah, hold on. 7, 8, 9 plus 4
Yeah.
is 13.
Okay, so you're fine. You managed to keep your balance.
Barely.
Constance falls over where she's standing a little bit and loses control of the boat for a second, so you go veering off a little bit, lose a little bit of
I
momentum.
told you to hang on. You should all have advantage because I told you to
But
hang
that tidal wave pushes you out of the marble cliffs and into open sea.
Should have led with that.
Oh, that's so good.
And as you look back, you can just see the guy at the top who you dominated is still turning the
Yeah.
thing backwards.
He's gonna be doing that for a minute.
What's the other guy doing?
The other guy is like, he
Fell
looks like he's
over.
climbing down. Like
Yeah.
there's a ladder that goes down there, and he's climbing to the chain to like inspect it, but
Okay.
there's nothing he can do. And you're already out and sailing towards open sea. So that's where we'll end for tonight.
Cool. Yeah, that's so
Nice
good.
job.
Good job, guys.
Thanks.
That was one of those things where I was like, I don't know how they're going to overcome it, but I'm excited to find out.
You weren't
Yeah, there
disappointed?
you go.
No, I was just like, I'm gonna raise an iron chain in front of them and see what they do.
Yay,
Good job.
we made it out.
So
I'm really glad I didn't have to shoot the guy.
next week, the
Yeah.
open sea and maybe some Kame Kame Island.
Woo! Finally.
Thanks to anyone who tuned in and watched. The VOD for this will be up immediately after.
It'll probably be
Um,
split in 2 because
yeah.
we had to.
Technical
You
difficulties.
Technical
might
difficulties.
want to turn into YouTube for this
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Other than that, the
will
YouTube
be up
video will be up Wednesday.
Wednesday.
All of our backlog of videos is on YouTube, so you can check those out. And yeah, hope to see you back again next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.
Night.